Eroding. Eroding what? What connections?
Our connection to the landscape, connections within the landscape.
Eroding.
Eroding. Like it could be weather, could be people, could be anything. That's eroding the connection.
That sounds interesting.
I think it's a bit...
It's a little bit different, isn't it? Unexpected.
Doesn't spell it out.
True. Why do we paint? I guess it's just a natural expression for me. It's just something I really love to do. I think most artists do it because we love it. We don't do it because it's something we have to do or there's some financial reward from it at all. It's just the putting on of the paint and the manipulating of the paint and somehow getting something down there that might say something back to what you wanted it to say, it's saying it. And just even one painting working out of about 6 or 7 is just a wonderful feeling.
Painting is wonderful because on the one hand, you're intellectually challenged by it because you've got to think about concepts and you've got to think about issues. Painting is addictive. I can't do anything else now than paint. I'm not prepared to go back to any other job because painting's life. It's everything. I try and capture a glimpse at that moment and a feeling and a moment in time, whether that's in the past or whether that's in the future, so whether it's a memory or whether it's a vision or a dream or a desire. I can express all that throughout that work process, and it doesn't have to be all about concepts or something real. It's more poetic than that. But reading philosophy helps, reading literature helps, thinking about a scientific background of something will help you understand a little bit sometimes where you're going, particularly when you're working with the landscape.
It's your work. It's not exactly like a photo has represented it. And I think that's the beauty of being working with paint like we do. We don't have to do what is out there. We can manipulate it. We can change it to whatever we want. That's our freedom, that we can respond however we want. Whereas a photographer, they're kind of it's restrained within what the camera can do. Where the artist can change. You can take the tree out. You can do whatever you like. It's your freedom. The different environments that we experience in central Queensland here, we have the pristine, the environments that have not been impacted on by man, and the beauty and the wonder of these places, and then we've walked through and we've observed the man-made environment, and I guess just the contrast of the two, and perhaps just showing to the viewer our interpretation of that, and how we responded to these different environments.
If you look at a landscape that we move in, we've always got a road that we drive on. There's always power poles in the distance. There's always power lines connecting us somewhere, reminding us that there's a coal-fired power station here in our region that's producing power for us that we need for our everyday life. So there's jobs created with industrial ventures around, particularly now around Gladstone, with more and more being invested in different industries there. And they're all important, exciting, dynamic places because they're creating jobs for people in this area and they become part of the landscape. So for me, what I see there is as much of the landscape as we saw at Sandy Point. I find the same beauty and the same tensions in both landscapes. They're both full of dynamism, both full of movement.
From an artistic point of view too, the industrial landscape is actually quite beautiful because it has so many repetitive factors
a lot of structure.
And patterning.
A lot of patterning.
That is very interesting for the artist. It's really good working together. I think we bounce off each other quite well. We're both very respectful of each other, so we probably don't sometimes say if something's annoying one of us, but we work really well together, and we have for a number of exhibitions now. And I think by respecting each other's work and each other's viewpoint on something, that's what makes the collaborative aspect of our relationship work so well.
It just adds something to life because you've got another person there with a completely different viewpoint. And I guess being so different is a bonus because we both have a different approach to trying to achieve that within work and also within life. It becomes life.
The sinkholes at low tide, that's a painting that I did in response to the sinkholes that are created by the flathead at Sandy Point. They were like impressions that were there, and they I guess they change from tidal, from tide to tide, but they were like these voids there, and whether it's kind of like a mirror into ourselves, it just seemed to respond to me. So it was just a series of these sinkholes that have been abstracted, and it was something that I kind of just resonated with.
I like the collaborative piece with Ainsley out at the power station. We were both working on one canvas in a collaborative effort, and I found that really interesting because Ainsley makes marks that I might want to go over and cover up, and then I'll make marks and she might bounce off them in a different way, and it was a constantly shifting landscape on that canvas, and I quite like that. I like that uncertainty.
Peter, is it all too solemn? Are we supposed to sort of lighten up a bit, or what?
That's good.
We're trying very hard here.
It's all very intellectual and sort of terribly solemn and everything, but you know.